This year, the third World Conference on Best Practices of Carbon Neutrality was held within the framework of the annual UN gathering for the first time. A record number of Chinese enterprises attended the climate conference, showing their latest progress in promoting a green transition while looking to boost cooperation with international peers.
I think that the urgency is clear to everybody. Unfortunately, actions are not fast enough. There has been a change between 2018, 2019, and 2020. That has been a moment in which, for the first time in history, since the beginning of the process that also our colleague was mentioning, of the COP systems, for the first time, political will has become evident. The first to take a decision was the European Union, and I commend that responsibility, with the announcement of the goal of climate neutrality by 2050, and the beginning of a transformation of the legal system, which is the Green Deal. Why am I referring to this? Because the COP are not probably the best place for making decisions, but they're probably the best place, and this is their importance, for creating, establishing, sharing the consensus with all the partners of the international community. The transformation that has been set in motion largely by the manufacturing capacity of China, that has brought down the price of solar, for instance, technology and other renewables components. This transformation, which will become an industrial transformation, an industrial revolution, is a fact. This is a trend. States are starting competing for green competitiveness. We are deciding who is going to lead also the economy of tomorrow. And the point of this COP, and that's why it's important, and the point of collaborating at the international level, is to design the rules. The new rules for the new economy that will allow all parties to thrive and to share the burden, the investments, to create the opportunities for us all.
我记得是09年吧，马尔代夫的整个内阁开了一次会，是在海底。 啊，带着潜水服啊，当时给我一个很大的印象，就是说50年之内，马尔代夫就会被消灭掉了，而且世界上已经有一个国家，叫努瓦图还是叫什么啊？帕努阿图已经是被海水淹没掉了。那对于他来讲，他短期的和未来已经切实的结合在一起了。那对很多的来讲呢，我们可能长期的预期和短期的诉求。 我想这样的矛盾是最大的挑战，而我们每一次气候大会坐在这里讨论的，其实就是这个：如何去协调，如何去协同，如何把短期的和长期的诉求能够合理的结合在一起。整个全球的这个共识没有问题。你看到现在越来越热，今年迪拜的注册的这个大会超过10万人，据说是有史以来最多的，越来越热。 各方面都在谈这个事，就是说这个共识没有问题，啊，那科学的共识也没有问题，都知道热了以后我们会带来什么样的结果，啊，那么我们今天在这谈的其实是政治的共识，大家怎么一起干，可是真到落地的时候，有问题了，谁来干，谁先干，谁花钱干，可能这是我们摆在面前要去解决的。
众所周知，现在全球的金融经济情况不是很乐观，但是呢，我们也看到了双碳未来降碳是一个非常大的价值洼地。那现在就说我们有需求，但我们投资的这个本钱从哪儿来？然后这是其一。那么其二，这个本钱投入以后，那谁来做一个中枢利益的传导和整个分配者？ 那我觉得这个可能也是我的一个观点吧，就是说现在大家都在谈分歧、谈冲突，但从我在其中看到了一个机遇。那么就所有的创新是从碰撞当中产生的创新。
我们也参加了今年9月初这个非洲气候峰会，我们作为唯一一家中国的企业参与到了这个非洲气候峰会，也见证了这个非洲目前20多个国家共同来 进行所谓的这个碳市场的这样的一个启动啊，那内罗毕宣言我们也参与了， 同时呢，像在今年9月份，这个印尼的市场启动的时候，我们正好有幸在跟发改委国合中心合作的项目的时候，也参与了这个启动。所以说呢，我们在国际参与的同时呢，发现目前不管是东南亚或者RCEP区域或者带路国家，对于碳市场的建设、碳市场的需求以及相应的能力建设的这个需求是非常庞大的。所以说，我们会坚定的去走我们这种国际化的路线，来进行这种互补，来协助中国的这个市场来进行国际化。中国已经开始非常积极的应对国际的碳市场、国际的碳交易。这个通过目前看，中国参与到的这个或者积极参与到的这种包括中美的对话，包括我们在刚刚2个月前结束的这个带路峰会上。包括我们在带路峰会上，总书记提出了这个8条里面，都能看出来我们在区域性，或者说在区域的绿色发展或者气候的合作上，我们要贡献的这个点。
I had the pleasure to be on the panel actually and shared my views on how media, the news media, can contribute to a better informed citizenry on the critical issue of taking climate actions.
CGTN is the English language arm of China Media Group. We've been around for 20 plus years, but we rebranded and relaunched in the past couple of years. That is, in fact, understand us as the English language arm of China Media Group. We do have a very extensive media footprint around the world, in the developing world as well as in North America and Europe. We're here to talk about climate. And climate has been a very heavy focus for as long as I can remember. We dedicate a lot of chapters, a lot of paragraphs and airtime and digital space to covering issues that we think are important to galvanize the world to take actions such as climate change. For this COP, for example, we focus very aggressively on the vulnerable communities. I myself interviewed the Minister of Indigenous People in Brazil, and also the Vice President of Bolivia, who is a Native American, by the way. If you look at Bolivia, some 70 and 80% of the population there are of indigenous descent or of European and indigenous mix. Also, we talked to the mayor of Athens, who is also vulnerable to climate change, considering their unique geopolitical location. We consider ourselves a champion of the global south. We care about projects concerning our collective future or collective interests, such as climate change, focusing on people such as the vulnerable groups around the world, and to give a voice to the voiceless in the global south. I remember back in the day in 2014, for example, when we interviewed then U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, I was really surprised. Kerry's office made one request. He said, I can give you this interview, but you've got to ask me one question on climate change. If you agree on this question, prerequisite, I'll give you this interview. That was June 2014. But all this changed in 2014. I was on the campaign trail covering Trump, covering Rubio, covering Cruz. A lot of folks are arguing that where's climate change? Where's global warming? And the lobbyists and those workers working on the mines and industries that they've known for their lifetime are arguing against action on climate. And I think that is really unfortunate. But the silver lining is China and the United States are picking up momentum once again. I hope this window of opportunity can be extended. Usually things get pretty nasty during election year in the United States. But I hope that at least there can be a continuation and can be, once again, a bipartisan realization that the United States needs to work with China on the very important question of climate. I like this comparison. If we encapsulate human history of the past recorded 2,000, 3,000 years into 24 hours, 23 out of these 24 hours, we're at war. We're competing, tribes fighting, nation states, arguing over their borders, wars happening, conflicts, extending out of their borders. So I think we've got to focus on the larger and collective questions such as climate change. And media do need to play a key part.
That's it for this edition of The Hub. I'm Wang Guan. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again soon.